And now, from New England's news station, this is the only News at 9.
A Massachusetts company forced to cease operations. Good evening, I'm Julie Norton. Lynette's limousine service has been in business for more than 20 years, but today the federal government announced it was ordering the company to shut down, claiming it disregarded basic rules that put people's safety at risk. Our Josh Brigadier is live at the company's headquarters in Wilmington, Massachusetts tonight with the details.
This fleet of buses, stretch SUVs, and limousines has been grounded. The Federal Department of Transportation has shut down Lynette's limousine service in Wilmington, Massachusetts, saying its vehicles and drivers pose an imminent hazard to public safety. Among the violations, failing to inspect and maintain vehicles, drivers working too many hours, unqualified drivers, drivers not tested for drug and alcohol use, and an overall 65.2 driving score. The feds say since the end of June, they found 26 vehicle defects, including problems with emergency exits, inadequate brakes, and steps held on by bungee cords. No one came to the door, though there were employees inside the business. In a statement on Facebook, the owner, Lynette, does not say they have been shut down, saying instead this is a federal safety audit of our procedures and vehicles. She goes on to say that, "We are proud of our record. We are still in business and are not going anywhere." This woman did not want to speak on her way out of the business, but we spoke briefly with former customers of Lynette's who rented a bus a couple of years ago. Any issues with that party bus?
No, they were good. They were good to us.
Now to the Amy Lord homicide investigation. With still no arrests in the case, hundreds gathered in her hometown of Wilbraham, Massachusetts today to say the final goodbyes to the 24-year-old. Lord was abducted in South Boston and brutally killed last week. She was remembered during a service at St. Cecilia's Church where more than 800 people were attended. Lord was a Bentley University graduate who had been living in South Boston. As the investigation continues, police have identified Edwin Almany as the person of interest in the case. He was arrested last week with connection of 2 other attacks on women in the same South Boston neighborhood. Meanwhile, Boston police have demoted a detective who they say failed to pursue leads that may have connected Almany to an attack on a woman in Roxbury last September. Jerome Hall Brewster will no longer perform investigations. Today, Mayor Tom Menino reacted to the demotion.
I think it's very appropriate that the commission acted so quickly on it. As soon as they found out, he demoted the individual, and I think that's an appropriate action this time.
Almany is undergoing a psychiatric evaluation after a judge ruled last week that he was unfit for arraignment. He has been charged with stabbing one woman and punching another. Both of the women survived. Be sure to stay with NECN as we continue to follow this story. We'll bring you the latest updates on air and online at NECN.com. In another neighborhood of Boston, police are investigating 2 attacks on women that happened near a T station. Our Catherine Sotnick is live at Dorchester Ashmont Station tonight with the details on the case. Kat?
2 indecent attacks on women, Boston police say, just days apart in the area of the Ashmont MBTA station in Dorchester.
It is scary. It is scary.
And even more frightening for the 2 victims. In the latest assault, a woman tells police she was jogging around 7 o'clock Monday morning near the T-stop when a man walking by nudged his elbow at her, then grabbed her backside. She was able to get away.
It's tough. It's really tough. And I hope they find this person.
Roxanne Reese lives right nearby.
Basically, I'm suspicious of everybody right now because you don't know who is who and what they're going to do to you.
This suspect is described by police as a light-skinned black or Hispanic male in his 20s or 30s, about 5'9", 5'10", brown or black hair cut short to the head, wearing an oversized shirt and black pants. In the other case, around 12:30 Friday morning, a woman says she was walking from the same T-stop when she was grabbed from behind. Police tell us the assailant placed his hand around her head, tried to take her phone, even pushed her to the ground. Like the last case, he also grabbed the victim's backside. She was able to fight off her attacker. This suspect is described by police as a black male, possibly Jamaican due to his accent, about 5'3", in his mid-20s, wearing a do-rag and all black. A police spokeswoman says they're not ruling anything out at this point, but don't believe the attackers are the same person due to their descriptions. For these women, they're vigilant but not overly concerned.
It can happen here, it can happen in Back Bay, it can happen, wherever you are. So I feel like women always have to be aware of what they're doing where they are.
Police have found a body in Boston Harbor near Castle Island days after a man fell overboard from a ferry. The Suffolk County DA's office identified the body, which was discovered this afternoon, as a Wilmington, Massachusetts man. A 41-year-old man fell from a third-deck railing of Provincetown 2 on Saturday night. A water search was unsuccessful over the weekend. The ferry operators say the man was engaged in horseplay at the time. Massachusetts health officials have detected Eastern equine epinelis, or triple E, in mosquitoes for the first time this year. The mosquito samples is from Amherst and was collected on July 23rd. There have been no human cases in the mosquito-borne illness, but people are being urged to avoid mosquitoes however they can. A doctor we spoke with describes the symptoms of triple E.
You start with muscle ache, fever, feeling a little bit of fatigue, maybe some diarrhea, maybe some vomiting. It's a very self-limited disease. Symptoms can last a few days, and then if it's complicated, it can go to your brain.
And as the wet summer continues, mosquitoes carrying West Nile virus have been detected in more than a dozen Massachusetts communities. Police divers returned to a lake in Bristol, Connecticut. They were again conducting a search in the Aaron Hernandez murder investigation. It's still not clear what authorities are looking for. Bristol is Hernandez's hometown. He's pleaded not guilty in the murder of Odin Lloyd last month. The ongoing lake search has attracted a lot of attention from the locals.
There's two ways you can go in life. And you would think the opportunity he had, but what it was I feel that when he lost his father, he fell apart. It's just one of those things he couldn't deal with. He was 15 at the time, and it's a shame.
State police divers could be at the lake for a week. Stay with NECN, NECN.com, and our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet, for the very latest on the Hernandez investigation. Coming up on the Only News at 9, he was convicted of terrorism charges. Now a Massachusetts man appealing the verdict. And as the Whitey Bulger trial continues, a former FBI agent takes the stand once again to testify about the reputed mob boss's role as an informant. Plus, two brothers who survived the Boston Marathon attacks lending support to the Red Cross.